Hello, Leo, and welcome to your April 2025 forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. We have Apollo in the background resting. Let's get started for this reading today. First and foremost, thank you again for taking some time out of your schedule and joining me. This monthly reading is going to help you navigate the next 4 to 6 weeks. I like to always begin with channeled messages. As I meditated on your sign, there was an image of a cornucopia coming through, a horn of plenty. And this, of course, at its core is about abundance. And I would connect it with energy like the world, which is expansion, the Nine of Pentacles or the Ten of Pentacles, which again is more than enough. And whether or not you're in that energy, we're starting to see the value and the worth that is within you. And that's actually where it begins. Self-worth equals net worth. And so often we focus on the payment, the bottom line, the status. And the first message from Spirit is really just recognize, own, and celebrate your value and your worth. And when it comes to relationships or any opportunity that might be in front of you, a job, volunteer work, whatever, make sure that that investment that you give, which is you, is being honored, cherished, reciprocated, that there is an even exchange because you're worth it. Okay, that's the first message. This is also like the Wheel of Fortune. This could be a month during which you are looking more strategically at how you want to spend your time, energy, and money, because resources aren't just about, the currency in your bank account. It's much bigger than that. So you're looking at where you feel that sense of value and worth in your life. What's fulfilling you, so I really love this as a general symbol. And as we look at the cards here, let's see if there are any indications of, again, an imbalance when it comes to your worth and what you're receiving. And then if there are any areas where we see expansion and abundance. Let's get started. Close your eyes now. Let's go ahead and tune in. Imagine, if you will, that the sun is rising. You can feel the beautiful rising sun wrap around your body, creating a cocoon of light and protection. In this safety, I'd like you to call in the angel, spirit guides, and ascended masters, allowing for messages for your highest good to come forth. Let's begin with your Catalyst card. We have the cat coming through. Beautiful cat at that. The Catalyst helps you spark or make a necessary change in your life. For me, a cat represents intuition and landing on your feet. So even if there's been a challenge and you feel a little bit topsy-turvy since this card was reversed, you have the ability to make a necessary shift or turn or about face. Don't be afraid to do that. Sometimes I think we get stuck on a path because maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago or something, we thought this is what I want to do. As you get further, listen, you can change your mind sooner than that. Maybe it was 5 months ago. But as you get more information, as you live life a little bit, it's natural to decide, oh, that doesn't align as much as it used to. So give yourself an opportunity to see the world from a different perspective. This is also very Hanged Man coded. So it's saying, I'm going to hang out here for a second before making my next move, but it's okay for my life to take a different turn. And that's the big takeaway that I get with this. And then, of course, instinct, intuition, and again, this sort of resilience. Beautiful cat. It really kind of sticks out as we're looking at this. It doesn't matter which position it's in. All right, we'll come back to the cat as needed. And it really is the boldest card on here. So, all right, cat. I always like to pause and look at all of the cards here. Definitely healing is taking center stage here. You're moving on. It feels like the best is yet to come and the most challenging aspect has happened. So we see the Ten of Swords at the center, the healing here in the recent past and moving on. So I definitely am picking up on that. I love that the star energy comes forth here. This is you figuring out who you are and stepping into it, taking some people by surprise, going after those second chances, and really seeing what's going on here. All right, let's do one card at a time. Ten of Swords. So this card is actually clarified by the cat. I mentioned this. You have a chance to land on your feet. Something may have been challenging. It may have been a little bit more difficult than you anticipated, but the best is yet to come, and you've gotten through this here. So we see a new dawn in the background, a new day dawning, rather. And so even after the most challenging moment in your life, sometimes something amazing can come through because you've gone through it. You've learned the lesson. You can release it. One of the mantras I have when I go through something not so fun, whether it's a health incident, losing someone that you love, a difficult friendship that breaks apart or something, I'm just like, wow, that was tough, but I learned so much. And then I speak to spirit and I'm like, thank you. I release pain as a teacher. I don't need this lesson anymore. I'm actually relieved not to have that person, place, or thing in my life. It was hard to go through. It's even harder to let go, but I feel okay. I'm going to be all right. So for some of you, that might resonate. This is a card of burnout as well. It's interesting that we see a person here in a suit with his briefcase. Some of you might be working a little bit too long, a little bit too hard. I'll hold the card up there so you can take it all in. We see a very industrial setting here too. So it may be necessary for some of you to take a step back from urban or city environments and find a place where you can recalibrate. It doesn't necessarily mean getting out to nature. You could just meditate or something of that nature. But for some of you, actually going out into the world and seeing something beyond the city, beyond the workspace could be beneficial. So whether that's going to the beach, going to a park, as we hear all the city noises behind me, sometimes that helps because we need to remember there's more than just the concrete jungle, right? If there's any chronic pain or fatigue going on in your life, obviously that's the first and most important thing to take care of. Physical health, mental health, spiritual well-being. These are the foundations upon which everything else is built. And if it's not feeling right, nothing else is going to kind of stick. So healing first and foremost. And what I do like about the Ten of Swords, there is a silver lining to this, is it is a full stop. Whatever happened, again, there's nowhere to go but in the positive direction here. So nowhere to go but up. We have the Page of Pentacles right on top of it. A blessing coming through. I like the way that this is illustrated. It's almost like someone is pulling back the curtains and saying, I've been here all along. This opportunity has been here all along. Like the Hanged Man, you had to wait until something was no longer there so you could see it from a new direction. You may decide to invest in yourself. Maybe you're suddenly advocating, realizing, and embracing the worth that I got earlier, the self-worth, the cornucopia that is you. So go for it, okay? This is a turning point. And again, I do believe the best is yet to come, but it's important in this moment not to sort of like burn out too fast. Don't overextend yourself. And don't give too much time, energy, or attention to rejection. Because by the way, this can just be a fear of rejection. What if I fail? What if someone doesn't like me? I'm not seeing that in the Page of Pentacles. But you need to convey that sense of, I can do this, like possibility and worth. Because if you are pushing out the fear or the anxiety, people are going to pick up on that, and that's kind of counterproductive, okay? Deep past. Nine of Pentacles. I mentioned I picked up on that with the cornucopia. So this is a chance for you to realize that you can do this on your own if you want to, if you need to. Normally there's a little snail. I may pull the picture up in just a moment. But what I really like about this one, let's focus on what we've got in the camera here, is she is engaging with others. She's like, yeah, I can do this on my own. But If I have a moment to talk or a moment to shine, I'm not going to shy away from that either. So coming out of your shell just a little bit is what I get with this. Also, we notice here that it's kind of autumnal, or maybe it's just like the moment before spring kicks in, winter to spring. We don't always see the immediate growth. It takes a long time of investing and working and learning for that ultimate blossoming moment to happen. But we see it here in the star, so don't give up. It looks like you're tracking in the right direction. Just because you know I love it, here is the little snail in the traditional Nine of Pentacles, representing slow, steady, and sustainable growth. And honestly, at the end of the day, that's what this is about. This is why you don't want to burn yourself out. Think of life in general, much less anything that's in front of you, project-oriented, as a long-distance run. If you sprint out and waste everything in the first leg of the race, there's not going to be anything to get across the finish line. Pace yourself. Take it slowly. And incrementally start to feel that sense of progress and success. All right, as we look at the recent past here, we have the Three of Swords coming through. This represents necessary healing. And for many of you, you could be on the heels of a rebound. Maybe you just broke up. Maybe your job ended. Maybe there's just a moment in your life where you're like, this is not what I signed up for. Although, as we all know, most of the pivotal milestones in our life, whether they're extremely positive or challenging, we did sign up for them. But it's more a way of saying, this isn't what I wanted. And you're allowed to feel that feeling. Don't deny yourself whatever this is. Pain, grief, frustration, disbelief, it's okay. We need you, in this moment in time, to tune into the heart. I love that the heart is front and center on this. And know that right after this comes rest, the Four of Swords. So actually, especially when we take a look at this, I think that is the secret sauce here. A little bit of burnout, a little bit of recalibration, put the Four of Swords on top of this, and then you're ready to take this first step in the new direction. So I think it's time for a vacation, folks. And if you can't take a vacation, it's time to just create some space somewhere in your life where you can just be. So being still is not the same as doing nothing. I'd like to put that out there for consideration. Sitting and breathing and just letting stuff go, that's not doing nothing, that's release. Sleeping and resting and recalibrating, that's not doing nothing, that's healing. Give yourself space. And for those overachievers out there, remember the pacing message that was a part of this. You've got to give yourself enough time for the muscles to heal, for the heart to heal. The heart is a muscle. And for the brain to heal. Never mind your energy. Okay? So just slow down a little bit, and slowly this will start to happen. Now, the heart is kind of stopped in this image here. We can see a few of the gears on the ground. So if you think in medicine, it sometimes needs a shock to the system. I think that the center card was the shock to the system. Something didn't feel right, and it got you feeling again, I don't want this. And it's almost like a reflex, like when you touch something hot. So there's an ouch moment somewhere this month, and it's not there to punish, it's there to awaken. And if you see it as that, then it will help you, because the cat's coming through again saying, use your instincts. You'll land on your feet. You'll see something different. Look at it from a different angle, okay? In the crowning position, we have the King of Cups in reverse, again in the theme of healing. He's starting to get there. Now we have a power card here. He's saying, I don't want it. I'm going to get rid of that. I don't need this. I'm going to let go of that. When I see the king and the chalice upside down, he's getting rid of stuff. So you can do clearing and cleaning this month, and it can be physical. You can go into your house and say, this stuff is getting in the way. I don't need it. It could be figurative. You could be looking at your relationships and again, the activities and the investments and saying, this doesn't make me feel good. It's not so much in this about the money, because it's the King of Hearts, the King of Cups. It's about where you feel here. So it's really appropriate that we have a heart in the Three of Swords, and King of Cups is King of Hearts. So he's saying, where's your heart at? And if you're not in it, if you're not feeling it, it's time to focus on that, okay? Now, the King of Cups is one of my favorite cards for love, leadership, friendship, because there is this sense of openness, fluidity, and empathy that is definitely a part of this. But the first thing that needs to be done is anything that doesn't serve you or suit your highest good, it's time to let it go so that you can be more in the flow and you can receive an upgrade. Put that out there into the universe. I'm ready to receive an upgrade. I'm ready for more. All right, now we're getting to the fun stuff here. As we look at the near future, we have the Fool. So everything that you've been through, all the recalibrating energy is bringing you into forward momentum. And this Fool has yet to take that first step. He's actually a chimney sweep in this deck, but typically the Fool is beginning a journey, and what's important is to look around. So I actually like that this particular Fool is taking stock of what that next step should be. It's worth bringing in the traditional card because look at the sun behind the Fool. Brighter days are ahead, especially after that Ten of Swords that we saw at the center. Look at the very light packing that he's done here in the knapsack. He's only carrying what's necessary. The Fool represents a reset, a mental reset, an energetic reset, and sometimes we just don't need to take as much with us to the next part of the journey. I had to do that in my last move, get rid of most of what I owned, and then I didn't get as much the next time. I'm like, I want to be kind of like the Fool, pack lighter. So this is a chance to forgive, forget, release, move forward. And then one thing that you do want to do is look at where you're leaping. He's ready to take the leap of faith. The dog is saying, slow down a second and look. So I like that this one is being cautious. He's been around the block a few times. This is more of a sophomoric Fool. It's like his second time around, not his first time. So slow, steady, and look before leaping, okay? The cat is saying that as well. There could be some travel on the horizon. You might be moving. This is also a card of birthing and beginning. It's the number 0. It's the very first card in the deck, and so it represents possibilities. Let's not put any sort of limit, cap, or boundary on it. Anything is possible. And it's a really nice segue from the Fool to get into the star energy. And this is the card that represents you this month. So in the upright position, this is one of the most powerful cards in the major arcana because it represents that celestial brilliance. That basically what a star is the glue of any solar system, right? And it's a beacon of light in the dark, just like the hermit holding the lantern, but it's always there. So many of you are stepping into that always on, always visible energy, and sometimes that increased visibility can make you want to go back into the shell a little bit. Know this. Star energy only comes through when you're ready. So that the only thing that's lacking this month is the realization that you're actually being set up for success this month. What you want to avoid is dimming your light. Changing your energy so you're less conspicuous, so that you're less authentic, so that you're less happy. I'll use a real life example. When I was a little kid, I talked about this in one of the Storytime videos, but I had an infectious laugh, and I love to giggle. And this was maybe like in kindergarten, first grade. But anyway, the teachers would give me detention because I laughed too much. And they told my dad that I needed to stop laughing. And he said, my son is happy. I'm not going to make him stop laughing. And it was a nice lesson for me, too. Like, I didn't feel pressure from my parents. I didn't understand why the teacher was mad at me. I learned later, like, yeah, you can't laugh when the teacher's talking. But I'm glad that my parents didn't punish me for joy, right? And in fact, they liked that I had an artistic flair, that I was, happy and talked. And now I'm making a living doing that. Because that was the other thing. They were like, he talks too much. So I had good communication skills and I was happy. And the teacher just wanted me to shut up, basically. So thankfully, my dad stood up for me. He's like, I'm not going to kill his spirit. And he understood in his wisdom, I'm not going to take the light and put it out. There'll be plenty of time in his life where other people are going to try to do that. I'm not going to do that. So thanks, Dad, by the way. He's in spirit. But you get that lesson from my dad through me. Don't let somebody take away something that makes you sparkle, whether it's your artistic flair, your personality, your laugh, whatever it is that sets you apart. Shine, baby, shine. That's what the star wants you to do, okay? This is also a moment where someone may tap on your shoulder and say, would you like to help out with this event? Speak up at this meeting. Talk to this person. Take on this project. The spotlight is shining on you. Step into it, okay? You are more prepared than you may give yourself credit for. All right, let's move on to the environment. We have the Queen of Wands in reverse. There could be someone around you that is really specific in how they want something done. This is one of the penultimate boss cards. She's second only to like King of Wands or Emperor, Empress energy. In her own right, she's amazing. And in the upright position, she can solve a problem that nobody else can, including all the aforementioned. But when she's reversed, she's a force to be reckoned with because she micromanages, because it's almost like she has blinders on. It's got to be done at this time, in this way, in this format. And it's like, does it? So one of your challenges this month is trying to get someone out of their rigidity. It could be anywhere, or anybody in your life, rather. It could be a mom, it could be a boss, it could be a sister, it could be a friend. It could just be you, too. But because it's in the environment, it's more likely someone around you. Now, they're coming through as a teacher, and as I've started to read cards over the past couple of decades, I realize that the environment's also a mirror to ourselves. So it's reminding you, don't sweat the small stuff, and if you can convey that in a way that isn't condescending or isn't somehow, coming across as dismissive, that's what the other person needs to see as well. Like there's more than one way to slice an apple. Keep an open mind, and if you can come through with an unusual solution, it may immediately meet a little bit of friction or resistance, but eventually people may come around and say, all right, you know what? I gave it a second thought, and I think there's something to this. Let's talk. So that would be my last piece of advice with this, is give the Queen of Wands some time to marinate with the idea and just say, before you answer, sleep on this, think about it, come back to me. You don't have to say anything today. Give them time. Let them think it was their idea. That's how you can basically get the Queen of Wands to do something that you want. She may want to take credit for it. That's something you have to decide if that's what you want. Depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Okay, hopes, fears, and opportunities. Second chances, 8 of Cups. Things are coming around one more time, and you get a chance this time to say, yeah, let's do this. An overdue vacation or break. As I said earlier with the 3 of Swords, next in the suit is 4 of Swords. That represents a chance to take a break. I'm going to pull the traditional 8 of Cups while we're talking. You'll see when I pull this illustration that it also represents the value of just getting some distance from a situation. Let me talk about it. Sometimes we are so in the middle of something, so in the weeds, that we lack clarity. And I was just talking to a friend about this. If we look at our life as a series of theaters, right, and we put all of our attention to one, we're going to miss the show in other areas. So one can represent family, one can represent work, personal development, the world at large. If we spend too much and give like something center stage, we lose focus. We've got to take a step back and see what else is going on. What's playing at the other theaters of our life, in our mind, in our soul? Take a break. Get some distance. See if you feel the same way tomorrow or a week from tomorrow. And if you do, then you can move forward. But don't take that step in the Fool until you've given yourself a little bit of time, a little bit of space. Come back, because there's always room to come back in the traditional illustration. And when you come back, you'll be certain. And it's not going to take as long as you think. If you can even just give yourself an hour or two sometimes, you'll be like, oh my God, I had something to eat. I took a break. I had some coffee. All right, I can think now. I'm sure you've had that situation before. Whatever amount of time you can buy yourself, do it. If you need more of a break because of what we see here, take it. There's some surprises coming through this month. Even as an intuitive, I can still be surprised in life. Spirit doesn't want to show us everything. So take things as they come and say, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting this, but I might be able to embrace this. What does this mean? Get curious. So whenever a blindfolded card like 8 of Swords or 2 of Swords rather comes through, it's saying Spirit wanted you to kind of react in real time. Because I'll give you an example of why something might be put behind the curtain, and in this case, it's this opportunity or this perhaps love interest. If we know what to look for and we're too in our headspace, we're not going to be organic in the moment. It's good sometimes, this is particularly true when it's just an organic opportunity or a friend or a lover that comes in. It's just like, oh, this feels so easy, this is great, and you're natural and you're unrehearsed. sometimes you have to just bump into the opportunity. So whether it's a job or a connection, because this page could be either, the universe has a little surprise for you this month. It looks like it's a good surprise, and it looks like it's to kind of make up for some of the 3 and 10 of Swords energy, okay? It comes through after you take the first step, after you take the break. And when you come back, maybe you just see things differently. This is like taking the blindfolds off. So now you can see all of this. Oh, I had to go through this. I had to release this. Now I can move on. Oh, now I have a chance at this. And now we enter stage right or left, this opportunity, okay? Take the break this month. You deserve it. Let's expand this forecast a little bit more. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. And the oracle card for health is joy. That is perfectly aligned with the vacation card of the 8 of Cups, or the break. So take a break, folks. Have some fun. Include and incorporate joy into your life. If you aren't already doing it, it is one of the best ways to heal the heart. Whatever makes you happy. Music, friends, love, quiet time, travel. It's up to you, folks. But let's do it, okay? Let's look at the other cards here. Chronic pain or fatigue may be coming through. Please prioritize healing that. Burnout might be coming through. Take care of that. You might be deciding to take better care of your heart, cardiovascular health, and then looking at your diet and exercise, obviously working with a professional for that. Exercise doesn't have to be extremely strenuous. It can be walking. Walking is great. Most doctors would agree. Work with your doctor to figure out how much. What I'm looking at here is 9 of Pentacles can sometimes be a lot, and this can be connected to like an overage of something. So you might be overdoing one aspect of your health, whether it's overeating, over exercising, too much sugar, too much protein. Balance is key. So make sure that you're getting that balance in your life. The 8 of Cups is also about creating a good cycle in your life, a good habit. Maybe letting go of something that didn't serve you and instead saying, okay, I'm going to replace it with this, and it's going to take some time and some practice for that to stick. And then finally, 8 of Swords, making sure that if there's anything going on with hearing or seeing, you go to either an ENT or an optometrist, get that taken care of. King of Cups, of course, emotional health. So a psychiatrist, psychologist could also be beneficial. And just slowing down. Overall, it's a chance for you to slow down and take care of yourself. All right, let's move on to the next category. We're going to look at wealth. This made me laugh a little bit when I saw the card here, and oh my gosh. So I'm using radically different decks, but what is there but a cat? The cat is showing up again. And a cat can represent a mischievous sort of energy. So a little bit of the devil, or a little bit of the moon card coming through. This isn't necessarily what I want to see in wealth, because it can show that, okay, so when I think of devil energy, there's usually 4 cards that accompany it. 5 of Swords, 7 of Swords, Moon, and I'll think of another one, but any of the sort of trickier cards where things aren't always apparent and seen. So I want you to be aware of stuff. Go a little bit deeper. Make sure that everything that you need to see is coming to the surface. So ask questions, get a second set of eyes and ears on something before making it's definitely before signing a contract, and this is going to help. And if someone's just acting a fool, don't give them the energy. It's not worth the time, okay? Let's go a little deeper, and we'll see if the mischievous energy presents itself. Otherwise, I'll just look at a broader message in each of these subcategories. Okay, so we're going to look at 5 different areas: those who are presently in a job, those who are owners of a business, aka an entrepreneur. Now we're going to look at job seekers. Don't worry, I'm going to go into all of these separately. And then finally, students and retirees. For those who are currently employed here, we have the 5 of Cups. It's in reverse. It's a card of recalibration. The necessary piece is letting go. So in many decks, this is a card of mourning, grieving, or releasing something. I like the way that they showed the 2 upright cards. There's someone here that's trying to serve a different opportunity, and they literally took it as a server. Like, hey, how about this? I have something better for you. Forget about these drinks over here. So I'll pull the traditional one while we're talking, but one of the things that you have to be able to do, kind of like the cat here, is to see it from a new perspective. And again, the Eight of Cups can give you that new perspective. So taking a break right now will really, really help. But I'd love for you to process the emotions. That's an important piece with the Five of Cups. And it reminds us that until we've had a chance to feel, go through the feels, we're never going to see those two cups. What I love in the background is you can see that there's a bridge over the troubled water and there's something to celebrate. He just has to look around. He just has to perceive something new. Look at how his auric field is starting to lighten up. I do feel like, generally speaking, this month, there is a lightning or an illumination or an inspiration that's coming through. It might just take a minute or two. And there's been some upsets in the past that you're kind of getting through. So let's talk about it. So one of the things that I see, and I already mentioned, is there might be too much on your plate. Please take care of yourself. Don't work yourself to the point of this. This can be mental burnout. It can be physical burnout. It can be getting a cold. We don't want it. We don't want it, especially with the Three of Swords. It's going into hypertension and things like that. We don't want a heart attack or a stroke or something like that. And it can go there, but it won't. But it's just a matter of recognizing the sort of, these are warning signs. So what you're going to do is value yourself, take a deep breath, take a walk away from something like this if you need to, because there's a lot of good stuff over here. You're going to lead by example. That's what the star is about. You're going to step towards opportunity, towards common sense, step away from that. Lead by example. And if someone's micromanaging, one thing that you can do is hold up a mirror. Let me give you an example. Early in my career, I was a designer, long before I was an art director and art manager. So I had this art director sitting next to me. They loved my design. They said, yeah, just export the graphic and send it to me. But then they were looking at how I organized the Photoshop document, and there's a bunch of layers and things that you can do inside the file. But they weren't going to get that. That was the source. They were just getting the final result. But they were like, why aren't you organizing this and doing this? And I said, do you want this? I can do it if you're going to need this final file. They said, oh, no. You're right. They were like, yeah, if you know what you're doing, if you can get me what I need, organize it however you want. And it wasn't me I just kind of said, if I'm giving it to you, I'll do it your way. But otherwise, shouldn't we just get to the next thing? Because I can get more done. And they're like, you're right. This is more efficient. You can also ask people if there's a compromise or meeting in the middle, or let them know, yes, I can do it, but it will take more time. Is that okay? So lots of different things you can do for a micromanager to accommodate their needs, but kind of hold a mirror up saying, maybe this isn't efficient, without saying it, if that helps. Otherwise, I think it's an okay month overall. There might be some travel that you need to do with the Fool and the Eight of Cups. There also might be a few rounds of revision or back and forth before someone can make a decision. And I think some of it is because of this. People want it one way. And even if you present a couple of different ways, they keep coming back to their one way. So if you have a client or a boss, you may save yourself time in the long run and just do it. Keep the other option there just in case they get pushed back and they need an alternative. But sometimes, there's only so much you can do when there is someone that wants it a certain way. Just make sure that you've kind of protected yourself and shown them the other thing, whatever it is. And it could be multiple tasks. So if it's home improvement, you're like showing them one material, they want another, or they want you show them the optimal color and they want another. Ultimately, if it's what they're living with, you give them what they want. But you caveat the time, the energy, and any sort of trade-offs. And at the end of the day, it may not be the battle that you want to fight. And some of you may be feeling a little bit, he's exhausted here. And she's like, it's okay, you finished it, right? So a little bit of perspective. I think that for many of you, you might be ready to find a new job. This is burnout. This is disappointment. This is not being happy, and this can be sort of like overwhelming. So if you are feeling that, look around. It may take a little longer than you think, but you're going to find something and someone that appreciates you. And I think you could really surprise yourself with where that might lead. But in the meantime, only fight the fights worth fighting and don't exhaust yourself, okay? And the last thing here is this feeling of being not appreciated, not seen, or not heard. So See if there is someone in the company that you can go to as a mentor or a support system, so you feel that sense of like, hey, what do I do, or how do I handle this? Maybe outside of the company is better, just like an industry mentor to help walk you through this chapter. No immediate danger here. The main thing here, and again, I want to underline that these are only if you don't take care of yourself. There's no imminent issue because this is in the past, but we don't want this to repeat, right? So we're going to work on making ourselves healthier, happier, and making sure that we don't give in to stress, because physically, mentally, and emotionally, it's not worth it, okay? Let's move on to those of you that own your own company. Okay, I like the Ace of Wands. There's something that you want to put more time and energy into, but you're either exhausted or overextended. And it's important at the beginning of this month to reallocate your time, to cut out some of these things that are burning you out and say, let me put my time into this. This is where the next big thing is. And you're also focusing on vitality. Like if you wake up exhausted, or if you go to sleep at night and I've done this before, you're gonna laugh, but in my dreams, I dream that I'm tired and I need to go to sleep. That is a sign that you need a break, folks, right? So please give yourself the adequate break that you need. I think some of you are working too many hours, doing too much. I think for some of you, you might be ready to make a change. Here's the cool thing. As the entrepreneur, you can do it. There's something that needs to give. And I do think for some of you, it might help to lean on someone else. You might need to hire someone new and then take a step away. Let them do that. Empower them. This allows you to go big picture. This allows you to put energy into the Ace of Wands. And we see something good coming through. It might take a couple of months. This Eight of Cups could show like 8 weeks, but give it time. Overall, I'm very heartened by the fact that we have a card of innovation here. But the first thing that I'm getting is a lack of vitality. And I love that we have the Star card here, but to feed the energy of the Star and the Ace of Wands, we need rest. So it's time to reorganize, recalibrate. By the way, from a financial perspective in existing companies, for those of you that own your own company rather, the Nine of Pentacles is good. Let's take some of that and perhaps reinvest it, like I said, in hiring or restructuring, or deciding, I just don't need to focus on this anymore. I want to focus on something else. Okay, let's move on. For those of you that are job seeking, we have change coming through, judgment. You might be deciding, I need to reinvent myself. I need to try something new. This is also about a phoenix rising up from the ashes. So if there was a setback in the form of a layoff, someone just not supporting you the way that you wanted, you needed to walk away, or they didn't give you what you needed, whatever it is, there's something about the past that may not be what you want. This next chapter, you're going to look for a place where that doesn't exist. You're changing the cycle. This is karma released, right? There also just may be this epiphany that I want to go this way instead. You've made the decision here, but you haven't kind of like come to terms with it yet. So if that's the case, give yourself time, and then it's okay to change direction if you want to. This is, again, a chance for you to understand that, like, don't beat yourself up. Don't cast judgment on yourself either, because it can be that too, like judging yourself too harshly or judging someone else too harshly. I think you're going to rise up, and I think something even better than you anticipated could come through if you're job seeking. 2 cards of travel. This one is just showing that it's important to get out and mix and mingle, but it could also be that you are looking for a job where there is an element of travel. Planes, trains, or automobiles. It can be both with the Fool and the Eight of Cups. Before you get a job, the most important thing, though, is health. So if there's any existing mental, physical, spiritual health issues that need to be addressed, please take care of those, absolutely. Don't go back to an old job, for sure. I like the one that is a little further away from you, because there is distance associated with this. You should have a little bit more freedom when it comes to creativity and the ability to express yourself. Okay? It's different. There's something wildly different about this. You are more ready than you think. Okay? For those of you that are students, there might be a change of major. Death card in reverse can also be this feeling of stagnating. Sometimes we get this right before you're ready to graduate, maybe even a couple of, like 3 semesters before or something, you're like, I just got to go. So for some of you, there might be a need to just take a break. It could be a semester abroad. Work it into the larger program. Maybe do a study abroad program, an internship, a semester off to work on something. You also can change or pivot within your degree, change your specialization, transfer to a new school. Something needs to be mixed up a little bit. This also could just be a decision to do something that changes the world, because death is just transformation. So if you're studying a major or taking a class that allows you to like go into the world and change politics, change policy, come up with a new invention that changes the way we work, changes the name of the game, lean into that. Absolutely. Death is not something to be feared. We need, it's part of the cycle. So some of you are disruptors. That's a term out in the corporate world, but you're going in to invent, disrupt, change, and reinvigorate. And I'm all behind that. But if you do need to make a change in your curriculum, please do it. Some of you might just decide this is too hard, or I don't want this. It doesn't feel right, and that's okay. You may want to just, like again, this really to me is more like a semester abroad. I did it. I loved it. I think it's great because it gives you a chance to catch your breath between years or degrees. I did it between undergraduate and grad school, and I did it non-credit. I was like, I just don't want to, I want to do something else for a while and study in a different country, and I was glad that I did that. There could just be one teacher or one class that's driving you up a wall. This is someone who, again, has a very clear way of doing it, and it's burnout. So if you need to drop the class, if you need to transfer, or if you need a new advisor, do that. Otherwise, I think just take it one step at a time, and remember what I said, the importance here of the 8 of Cups. Before you make significant changes, getting that perspective is going to be key. So step back at least a week, sit with it, and then move forward with the decision. Okay? Retirees, we have the 5 of Wands in reverse. You're avoiding unnecessary conflict. You're not competing with others. You don't feel the need to have them judge or compete with you. This is you just sort of saying, yeah, I'm kind of done with that. This is the reason I retired, right? I don't need to unnecessarily kind of like puff my chest and prove who's who and what's what and all of that. It's like enough already. This is also a chance for you to decide what inspires you. Because when I look at this, I always think of like a hamster running on a wheel, not making any progress. You don't have to do that anymore. There's a liberation in that. Here's some things that I'm picking up on. Some of you were really ready to retire. Like the last year or two of the work was exhausting. And there's this freedom, but there's a question like, what do I do with this freedom? Travel is coming through so loud and clear. Near future, hopes, fears, and opportunities. That's where the magic is. Someone may want to hire you or get your time and energy. Make sure you're adequately compensated. We talked about that earlier. And it could just be in feeling that sense of fulfillment. But definitely the coins are there, so you deserve it. You're worth it. We see it in the deep past. Open yourself up to be surprised. This is about trying things you've never done before. New food, new exercise, new travel, new books and cinema and things that you would just never normally expose yourself to. Try something different. Let's move on to love and relationships. Gratitude can change your attitude. I love what we see here. Saying, I love you, thank you, I appreciate you can go so far. Just thanking yourself, too, for getting this far in the journey. Vitally important. Let's see how gratitude plays out as we drill a little bit deeper into relationships. We'll take a look at those of you currently in a relationship, those that may be looking for love, and those that are single and happy. If you're currently in a relationship, I love what I see here. We have the High Priestess. This is reminding you that if you can see it in your mind's eye, you can bring it into the relationship. Sharing your hopes and your dreams and your visions with someone. Hopefully it's your best friend, right, that you're married to or that you're partnered with. So this is what you really want to do is be creative, let them know what's going on. on some level, they see it too. Like attracts like. I think this is a month where it's a very beautiful creative partnership. So be open, open your heart, and express yourself creatively. Are there some challenges this month? For sure. Some of you might have just gotten through an argument, and it's hard to let it go, but you will if you want to. I think you just need some time and space. So before engaging in a follow-up, get the space that you need, give your partner the space that you need. If everything's good, again, there could be some stress at work, there could be some health issues that are going on, support one another. I think one of you is just on the precipice of like a breakthrough. And there might be kind of like this weird dichotomy where one of you just went through a big challenge and one of you is kind of on a really positive uptick. Know this, that there's ebbs and flows in every relationship. When your partner is succeeding, you're succeeding too, because the two of you are a team. So don't compare yourself unnecessarily to what's going on with them. You do you, let them do their sort of energy, and meet in the middle. And eventually things will even out. I think the most important thing is to open up the lines of communication this month, to feel seen, to be seen, to see them. And to let it go. There might need to be a sort of external outlet like a therapist so that this can be dealt with. And then when the two of you come together, it'll be a little easier. This is demonstrative. This is expressive. This one needs to hear I love you. This one just shows them that they love them. And the problem with the King of Cups and Queen of Wands reversed is both of them need or want a little validation. So both of them, there needs to be communication. And from both. So a little bit more verbal. That's why the gratitude came through. I like it when you do this. I appreciated that you did that. I love and I see you. Those words are powerful. So if you can kind of work on expression and also just figure out each other's love language. If your partner has always been the kind of quiet type or the demonstrative type or the sensitive type, they're probably not going to significantly change. But if you can work a little bit to meet in the middle, I think things will be all right. Okay, if I can pull the card to the main camera here. If you're looking for love, we have King of Wands energy in reverse. So very interesting because we have two headstrong people. So in the environment, Queen of Wands reversed, and representing you, King of Wands reversed. So you're pulling in someone just like you. We have fiery energy here because this is a fire sign, but we have boss energy too, and two people who don't like to be told what to do. So can you find someone? Yes. But the warning is they're very, very similar. And if you're the quiet type, maybe this is just doubling down on the sort of like the boss energy, and you have to ask yourself if that's what you want. I'm just getting strong-willed or headstrong or stubborn, and make sure that that's what you're looking for. A couple of notes. I think before you enter into any sort of relationship, the healing journey must be done, whatever needs to be healed. I think there might be some travel that needs to be dealt with as well. And then really just feeling comfortable being seen, being in that spotlight. Then you're going to be able to attract this person. By the way, public, you're going to meet the person out and about. So this would be a public event, a gathering, a work event, something that isn't on an app. This is out and about. So say yes to invitations this month. It's a great way to meet somebody. All right, let's move on to single and happy. Good for you. We have the Queen of Swords coming through. She's really focusing on communication, on action, also on just, I get this freedom. She's going to do what she wants to do. She'll do the right thing, but there is this sense that I just see her kind of like, her wings are spread and she's flying and she's not worrying about stuff. But your communication, because I'm seeing, it's kind of like a butterfly, but a butterfly or a hummingbird or something like that. Words carry, actions carry, people are paying attention to you. You can make a big splash this month. Everything that I've said about healing also pertains to you, but I feel like travel is amazing, and there's a spotlight moment, and there's a leadership moment. So the sky is the limit. If you're single and happy, good luck. All right, let's move on to destiny. It says, garden the heart. And I really think this means prioritize and build energy around the heart. Some of you are deciding to put a little bit more energy into relationships. For the rest of you, you're just focusing on healing the heart space, especially since we had Three of Swords. If you feel it, great. If you don't fake it. Don't fake the feeling. It's either there or it isn't. Finally, let's take a look at one last card. This is your chance to ask any question that I haven't answered, and let's see what Spirit has to say. Right next to the cat. Here we go. So the cat is in the proper position, Hanged Man, but we have the Hanged Man in reverse. And basically this is impatience, like, why can't this happen now? I want it now. And it's saying, just hang out for one more moment. Trust the process. Trust that you're exactly where you need to be, exactly when you need to be. Give it a little bit more time, and things will start to come into focus. Okay? And that, my friends, is everything for this month. I hope that this reading gave you clarity, a sense of vision, and this feeling like you've got this. One thing that I will say when it comes to overall abundance, I mean, I feel like you've already done the work here. And it's a matter of one step at a time. So really, I see that it's already here. We got a double indication that you're exactly where you need to be. If you asked a yes or no, this is saying not yet. Give it a little more time. But in general, whatever perceived delay is in front of you, it's helping you see a new opportunity. And the big area of investment and development this month is in the heart. So there you go, my friends. I feel compelled to do a reader's choice here, and then we're going to wrap up. Usually there's only one last one, but I'm really curious about the cornucopia. So you're getting a bonus here just because I feel like I can give you one more. So I'm trying to see if I can find the graphic for this. It doesn't matter. So we're going to take a look at the reader's choice here. I just found it. Okay. So for the reader's choice, I want to see, how can you get to that horn of plenty? Clarity. Okay, so this is my card for you. The Seven of Cups is giving yourself a chance to explore all the opportunities, to read, to research, to get informed, and also to make your mind up. And I mean that in the best way, because Spirit needs clarity in order to bring abundance and to bring situations into existence. When you know what you want, then the path reveals itself. Now we can end. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor, like and subscribe, especially if you're a first-time viewer. That subscription helps this channel grow and it helps it reach more people. That's just how YouTube works. Leave a comment. That also helps more people discover this. Say, hey, Nicholas, I really love this, or this is what I'm going through. One, I love to hear what you guys are doing, and I also really appreciate hearing what resonates. Give me a follow elsewhere if you'd like to on social media. Nicholas Ashbaugh is my handle on all the major platforms. Blue Sky, it's nicholasashbaugh.com. If you really want to help the channel, you can also become a member. We're going to start doing some new things with memberships this month. You can also give a super sticker, super chat, or super like. That allows me to keep showing up and doing more specialized videos, including things like podcasts. So thank you in advance for that. Also, if you need more information about me, you can go directly to my website. Keep an eye out for any imposters that might try to use direct messages or offer a private reading. That's not me. That, my friends, is everything. Thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. Wouldn't be here without your love and support. Apollo is behind us. We're going to give him a scratch on the head, and then I'm going to wrap up. Hey, buddy. You good boy? Yes, you are. I know. All right. Thank you again, everybody. Take care. I'll see you soon.